Ready, sir? Okay, is this working? Are we going to get some this today? I need your assistance, sir.
Hello.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Gilbert Cedillo. This is the Housing Committee of Wednesday, November 13, 2019. We are in room 1010, City Hall, 3 p.m. Thank you for joining us, and those in our audience, thank you. I am joined by my colleagues, Marquise Harris-Dawson, and by Paul Krikorian. We are prepared to go forward. We're going to have general public comment first. We have a small agenda on the general meeting, and then we have a special agenda item, I think one that everybody should embrace and enjoy. And then that should take care of it for today, November 13th. Let's begin with public comment. I've got Mr. Greenspan come and tell us about how much you adore UCLA, Corey Schmidt, Nancy Halpern Ibrahim, and Rabea Sen. Please join us.
Are we on the regular or the special meeting?
We're on the regular.
Is that multi-item or general public comment? General?
Multiple comment is what my staff tells me, so who am I to
I got
object?
a minute. So which is the minute for? The general public or the?
Multi item, sir.
Isn't that
Which
two?
is 1 minute.
Do I get two? Okay. All right. Multiple items. Thank you. Mike Greenspan. Florida Gator. Let me. I want to go over this first thing. I mean, about the tax default. There's 9 parcels in tax default, and it sounds like a good idea. The question I have, and I'm always with questions because I don't just take things at face value, how long have these parcels been in tax default? I mean, I've got a nephew back in that's in Georgia, and he online buys those deeds and makes profit. So I'm curious, does the general public have a chance at this, or is it just for us and us exclusively, as far as the city? Because I've heard of properties being sold on the courthouse steps, which, of course, the problem is you can't get the title insurance, or it's real hard to get. So I hope we have some, with 1,000 people in the city attorney's office, I hope we have people that can clear title for the city. Just little things like that. Now, as we look at other things about restoring neighborhoods, almost $500,000 being used for that. Have they been spending we're increasing the contract, have they spent the money they've been given fairly? Have they spent it, looking out for us as taxpayers, or has it just been one wasteful thing, and here they are coming again with cost overruns? Usually you would hear of cost overruns in relation to Defense Department, but this could happen in housing too, and I'm just cynical about it until, more evidence, more proof. And I'll head to the general public comment if that's okay, or that's another time.
Please go.
Okay. Yes, let's go bust that giant piñata. That'll definitely get us money. As I told the Board of Supervisors yesterday, giving a Bible lesson to Janice Hahn and Mark Ridley Thomas about, Saul killed his thousands, David killed his tens of thousands, as they were giving $6 million to various cities in the county over homeless support services. They're giving millions. Well, we bust that giant piñata and we get ourselves tens of millions. And you know what the piñata is. It's the UCLA football budget that needs a good blue pencil put to it every year by the governor until they quit wasting our taxpayer dollars. There's plenty of homeless people in Westwood that could really use that money. I'm just talking about transferring funds from a state source to a local source here within Los Angeles. We transfer money all the time between departments for people's pet projects. Why can't we transfer it for what's really needed? Thank you.
Thank you for keeping your comments relevant. Corey Schmidt. Corey?
Okay, Corey Schmidt for the record. Okay, so I see that we are stealing properties. That's what I see. Paul, I know that your budget, so you're about money. I get that, and I see that number 2 is all about economic growth corporation. We're trying to come up with ideas for making money, and I see that we're going to swoop a bunch of people's properties because they're in tax default. And the special item is, it is about being first right of refusal for anybody that gets Ellis acted. So basically, anybody that gets booted from their house, we're going to buy their property. So it's like, I see a lot of properties being taken, but on the other side, the Ellis Act thing could be to help build better properties. Maybe that's what that's about. I'm not sure. I just see some stuff. It's all on Hoover Street, and I was saying I'm trying to clean up these streets, but I'm not sure if this is quite what I meant. And then the hardship exemption for these properties, I want to see. I think what I need to see is I need to see these things penciled out, because I know that we do a lot of stuff, and it's like I want to say that it's terrible stuff, but then again, if it's penciled out, maybe I can see the rationale behind it. But right now, I'm just like, okay, they get a hardship exemption for 15% of very low income housing, and the very low is like you don't have to have as many units because it's the very low. And so I'm just like, I don't know about these incentives for these giant properties. And we're giving away more compensation and extending a contract on something else for like $450,000. And again, I'd like to see some of this stuff penciled out, because I don't know. It seems like we're being a little frivolous here. And so let me jump to general. Do you guys have any, the 3D printed tax that we did like a few weeks, maybe a month or so ago, we did 3D printed homes for the homeless. And I haven't heard anything about it since, and I don't know that there's been any real explanation of what it is. I know that I was speaking about it, but I haven't heard Herb talk about it. I haven't heard anybody really talk about it. I just wondered, it's a big tax, you know what I mean? We're taxing people, but I don't really know what the game plan is. So I'm just wondering if it was a blank tax or not. So just some questions I'd like answered. So thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Halpern Ibrahim.
Thank you. Well, that is my name, Nancy Halpern Ibrahim. I'm the Executive Director of Esperanza Community Housing, which has affordable housing developments in District 1, 9, and 8. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for the time. I'm also a proud founding member of both Trust South LA and the Unidad Coalition. While I'm here today in general to support the HCID recommendations around the USC Nexus area, I also wanted to elevate into this space a recent triumph of housing. Last Thursday afternoon, Councilmember Harris Dawson and I both had the joy and the opportunity to celebrate the public inauguration of Roland Curtis Gardens, a Trust South LA abode community development that was years in the making and community organizing, and resulted in 140 units of 100% affordable housing on the Expo line, with a right to return for tenants who had lived previously at that site. At that time, Councilmember Harris Dawson said, Roland Curtis Gardens didn't just happen. People decided that their neighborhood, their lives, their quality of life was worth fighting for, unquote. And from Esperanza's 30 years experience, where such developments succeed, neighborhoods stabilize, families stabilize, health is optimized, and employment is also optimized. We can't allow the idea of new jobs to trump existing jobs, or for affluent transients to deprioritize the affordable housing interests and housing rights of community members. It is my greatest hope that this body, in the spirit of lauding Roland Curtis Gardens and celebrating what works, will support other communities where people have been struggling for the development of housing that's affordable. Some of that struggle has taken place around, I'm a multiple, if you don't mind addressing the next.
You've got 2 minutes, one for general public comment and one for the
Great.
other item.
Does I have one more?
No.
2 more. Thank you. Start the. Was I just cut off at 2? Was it 3? Okay. Some of that struggle has taken place around public land in both CD9 and CD8, like the Bethune Library site, which is also in the USC Nexus area. Public land must prioritize affordable housing, especially at a time in this city, in our city, that is suffering an unendurable housing crisis and not a hospitality crisis. We all know what quality developments like Roland Curtis Gardens do to a neighborhood. Not only is it worth people fighting for, but it is worth the council fighting for. It becomes a permanent asset to the district, to the council person's reputation. It becomes a permanent asset to the neighborhood and to the city. And I hope we will, in the spirit of celebrating those successes that work, make sure that more of those successes happen in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I am Rabia Sen with Esperanza Community Housing, and we're here to say that we support the HCID recommendations listed in item number 2, as they represent what the city is capable of doing to address the homelessness crisis, to stabilize our most vulnerable neighborhoods, and to address the city's egregious lack of an adequate supply of affordable housing, especially at the deepest affordability levels. As a founding member of the Unidad Coalition, deeply involved in the community process resulting in this specific fund from USC, we would like to also take this opportunity to remind you that these funds are to be used for affordable housing and services in the USC Nexus area. And I say this because we have seen that some of this money has actually been allocated for development on public land, no less, within the area for non-affordable housing uses, such as a non-union hotel on the Bethune site in Council District 8. And as I've mentioned the Bethune site, I'd just like to say that, one, we hope that you reconsider this allocation from the USC Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And two, we strongly urge you to please reconsider the type of development that is happening on this site. State procedures and laws that govern this former CRA-owned land, the Bethune site, actually mandate affordable housing here. And especially in light of the homelessness crisis in the city, specifically the marked increase in South LA and in this case in CD8, we hope that you will stand firmly with the community who has in fact consistently spoken out, especially over, I would say, almost 10 years of advocacy around the Bethune site itself. So community has consistently spoken out and asked for more affordable housing, and especially given that this is public land, for affordable housing on public land for public good. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Javier or Xavier Marshall and Red Chief Hunt.
The Red Chief Hunt, I want to say this about the city of Los Angeles. We have the worst crisis in the whole country. It's been known and it's been obvious that the news people and everybody's reporting on this. We can move 100,000 troops overseas in 1 week and house them with triages, but we can't move 32,000 people out of the city of Los Angeles downtown and get them housed and things like that. Makes no sense. 2019 is gone. This year is gone. We have to look forward to 2020. I think we, and I'm saying we as a whole, have to do a better job at what we're doing here. And we need to get everybody triaged in housing or some kind of bedding and things like that. We have people dying out in the streets, and it doesn't make any money. We have $400 million, and, you know, the crisis is not getting any better. The logistics that the city have, we need to come in and bring in either the National Guard to train our people and things like that so we can get logistics done and get them in cuticle 1s, cuticle 2s, and cuticle 3s so we can evaluate them and take them out of these people's businesses and stuff like that. It's time. The time is now. It's 2020. Let's get it done. I am the Red Chief Hunt. It means more to me to see a person housed than that person out in the tent. We have 2 people here that's running around here, Herman and this Hispanic girl, need housing right now. Let's start right here at home. Show me what's going on. The Red Chief Hunt, we need to start here and now. 2020's here.
Are you Xavier Marshall?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
That is my pseudonym. All right, so my name is Dr. Mello Desire, but today I am Xavier Marshall. My concern is the first right of refusal to purchase apartments under the Ellis Act. Because of the properties that we have submitted, identified already in SPA 6, and I'm talking specifically in SPA 6, that have not been respected, that have not been read, Solomon Rivera told me straight up, in this proposal that has the property, 643 of them, that could be used for low permanent housing, rehabilitation, everything. I have a whole list of engagement of clients that's on my list that are Hopix and LASA burnt. They exhaust their resources. You put them in shelters that you guys are not even accounting. It's like prisons. So what I try to do is try to refer them to other locations. LASA doesn't do engagement, as Raul Galpin told you on August 28th. But for some reason, these properties that I keep bringing to CD8 are not being developed. So you have a huge lot that's right next to, that's on Slauson. I forgot what the name of the organization is. They're just as incompetent anyway, doing nothing for the kids in the community. Sitting there for a long time, right near Slauson in Maine. You have Hopix clients that keep getting referred out or sleeping in the car. This safe parking stuff is not the cat's meow. So I don't know why they keep presenting it as if people want to sleep in cars. Okay, you have Slauson in Maine, you have Normandy 116th, 89th in Normandy, Manchester in Vermont that's still sitting there collecting dust, looking like a swap meet, is not being done. So between Eli Sassooni, developers, David Groban, our city councilman, who is working for the people, the blacks especially are going to have a max exodus out of LA, because apparently you don't love us. Whether it's housing discrimination, incarceration, for some reason blacks are used for data, but we're not being brought to the table. So what's up? I don't think it's right for you guys to have the first dibs of anything if you guys are not fixing what you already have in front of you. You're not respecting the constituents' paperwork that we bring to you. So what are we doing? We gotta be serious about these agendas before we put them on paper.
Thank
All
you.
right, so public comment, or was that it?
That's it.
That's it. I have a Keeley. So you want to come up?
And the rest of the items are for your agenda items. They're not, the other speakers are for items 1 and 2 on the agenda. If you want to take up
Mr.
item
Keeley,
1,
you
do
want to come for item 1?
you want to close public comment and general public
Close
comment?
public comment, general public comment, closed.
Closing public comment, and this is item 1.
Yeah, we're not closing you.
No, I'm willing to yield. I made a mistake,
Okay.
so I'm willing to yield.
Come up.
Okay.
For closing general public comment and multi-item public comment.
Mr. Keeley, you're going to get your time.
No. Okay. Thank you very. I really
Call it
wanted.
whatever you want.
Yes. All right. I really wanted. I made a mistake.
That's okay.
I filled out the
That's
wrong.
okay.
I filled out the wrong form. But I am here on behalf of the Crenshaw Subway Coalition and the Black Community Clergy and Labor Alliance to support item number 1, It's a good concept, but we also would like to see it added to. We'd like to see first affordable housing and nonprofit organizations be included and have the same right. And we'd like to see all units included, not just LSAC's units. Conceptually, this is a good idea, and we want to see this go forward. We would like to see Esperanza and other nonprofits be able to exercise the same privilege, if you will, in right of refusal. And we would like to see all of the units, not just LSAC's. The rents are skyrocketing in our communities, and this would provide some relief, at least if the city were to exercise its first right of refusal. So this is a good concept. Let's go forward with it, but we'd like to see affordable housing organizations be included and all units be included, not just LSAC's. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, would you like me to read item 1 into the record?
Please.
So reports from the Los Angeles Housing and Community Investment Department and the City Administrative Officer relative to the purchase of parcels in default from the County of Los Angeles for the development of affordable housing.
Okay. On consent?
Sure.
No objection?
And you're approving the CAO report?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, a couple folks commented. I think they were commenting on one.
On special one.
Special one. Okay. So I did this, this is addressing what Mr. Akili raised. We did this in council and it's fallen off. So I think I'll make the amendment again.
We're done.
It hasn't?
We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay.
Mr. Keeley, you've been very persuasive.
Yes.
That you're even breaking through the agenda.
Mr. Chair, would
So
you like...
this was item 1 of the regular agenda.
We're not at the special.
All right. So I have comments on item 1 too.
Okay.
So item 1, you have approved on consent, the CAO report. Would you like me to read item number 2 into the record?
Well, Mr. Harris Dawson.
I'll just make a note because I think some folks referenced support for item 1, but then raised other parcels of land in the district public land, and in particular where they'd like to see affordable housing. I would make a couple notes about that. In another matter, we actually helped move forward an item that would make it so that all public land in the city of Los Angeles would be prioritized for affordable housing. There's no such policy on the books now. I would also make a note that if that's going to be the policy in the 8th District, it has to be the policy in the whole city of LA. The 8th District has more square footage dedicated to affordable housing than anywhere else. I just came back literally from a HHH housing development, of which we were approving the 687th unit of HHH housing, and so I think the 8th District does more than its fair share, and we'll continue to push for more, but that standard has to be held across the city and not localized to the folks who live in District 8.
So, I agree with you. That's why I put forth that motion for us to figure out strategies for equity throughout the entire of the city. It's not right that some districts were at 0 or at 13 units. And your district, my district, the 9th District, were way ahead in terms of meeting our 222 objectives and beyond that. I will compete with you to see who has the most affordable per acre, and we are happy to do that, but everyone must participate in this rising tide, and we are addressing that. That takes care of item 1?
Yes. Item number 2, Mr. Chair, is a HCID LA report, and the CAO report is now up on the council file as well, relative to the approval of contractors to provide services within the USC Nexus Study area and negotiate and execute those related agreements.
I have Lupita, Sergio Vargas, and Maria Patino Gutierrez. Oh,
Do we go in order or?
sure. Hola, permiso, perdón. Me disculpa.
We're here again.
Sí, no.
Yeah.
Bienvenido.
Okay, I think I make the mistake to put the number 2, but I want the special number 1.
Okay,
It's about
bien.
Ellis Act.
Bien.
And then, again, my name is Lupita Gonzalez. I'm the tenant organizer with ACE, Alliance of California for Community Empowerment. I'm a tenant too in the District 8. Like a tenant organizer, every week we have tenants came to tell us about they be evicted because they have some development in that building they live for years. And then for the organization and for our members, it's very important see this motion about Ellis Act, because we need to do something to stop the eviction about Ellis Act. And then thank you for the time.
For clarification, that was a public comment on special agenda item number 1?
Yes.
Okay, so we are now on item number 2, regular agenda. You want to take,
I want to finish 2,
What?
3, 4, and then I want to get to item 1.
okay, so I don't know if the speakers are there for item number 2 or the special. Okay.
Number 2, yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sergio Vargas. I'm an organizer with ACE. We are against this proposal. We understand the USC has enough money to conduct their own studies, and I don't understand why the city has to give them money for them to do this. We all know they can do this themselves. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maria Patiño Gutierrez. I'm with SAGE, and we're glad that the city is finally making strides in this agreement. The Unidad Coalition, which SAGE is part of, we advocated for this money to be dispersed to create more affordable housing and to prevent more evictions happening in the USC area, which is the area that we're working with. And we do understand, Council Member, that you're saying that you're building more affordable housing, but your area is also suffering from more homelessness every year. So we really do think that this is very important to address. So while we do agree with the recommendation, we also want to use this opportunity to uplift that there needs to be more affordable housing, especially on public land. Thank you.
Mr. Harris-Dawson? Okay. All right, motion on number 2?
So moved.
So
Second.
moved, no objection.
You're approving the CAO report?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Item number 3?
Item number 3 is HCLA report, and the CAO's report is also up on the council file relative to the authority executing 11th Amendment to the Neighborhood Stabilization Program with Restore Neighborhoods LA.
We don't have any, you want your items 3 and 4 on consent?
Also number 4?
Yeah, on consent.
Okay.
We don't have any comment.
And so item number 3 is also the CAO report, correct?
Yep,
And
No objection.
no objections? Okay, item number 5?
item number 5 is a motion, Cedillo Harris-Dawson, relative to authorizing the general manager of HCLA to apply for lead hazard reduction program funding from HUD.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisette Romero Martinez, and the CAO recommended that some minor amendments be made to the motion. I have them in writing. Would you like me to read them for the record? Or?
Yes, those are not on the record, on the council file, so they do need to be read into the record.
Okay. So in paragraph 5, we would like to replace is with was, and then in paragraph 6, after 5.6 million, we would like to replace the wording with and execute any and all documents to reflect acceptance of this grant. The form of the sample of the agreements is attached here too. And lastly, in paragraph, the last paragraph, we would like to delete within 45 days.
Mr. Krikorian?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just first of all, I'm really glad we're moving forward with this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for catching the fact that we had not been eligible for this grant funding for all these years. Now we are. It's really important that we push pedal to the metal in getting this done. That being said, we've had a practice in the past of ensuring that any grant applications that we submit be approved by the council in advance, because there is always the risk that by accepting a grant, we are taking on additional obligations, compliance obligations, and others that often have general fund impacts or have hiring impacts or have other things that we need to take into account, or that could become ongoing obligations that are being paid for with one-time funds. And so that's why we always try to review these in advance before we even apply for them. So I'm all for this. I just want to make sure from you that we don't perceive any likely general fund impacts from the acceptance of this grant.
There's no impact of the general
All I
funds
need to
for
hear.
this funds. Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Want to move the item?
All right, we'll move the item. Thank you.
Second? Second. No objection? That completes our agenda for general. We have a special.
Yes, we need to open up that special one.
Lupita?
Kiosk. You have it up? Okay, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
We have a special meeting agenda. Item number 1, it's a motion from Weston, Cedillo, Harris, Dawson, and Koretz to instruct the LAHD, with the assistance of the city attorney, prepare and present an ordinance regarding the first right of refusal on Ellis Act properties.
I think we have an amendment, verbal amendment for that.
Yes, the verbal amendment is that we expand the first right of refusal to the nonprofit affordable housing entities and tenants, and ask for a report back from the city attorney on the possibility of applying this policy beyond Ellis Act units.
Yep. And by nonprofit, we mean mission-driven organizations.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Amended?
Approved as amended?
Yep, move as amended.
Can I just suggest one other, I hope, friendly amendment as well? I like the fact, this sounds like a terrific idea to me, but I have to admit, I don't fully understand the nuances and legalities of it. I love the fact that we're moving forward with an ordinance that we can actually work on, but our council has a culture or a tendency when ordinances are presented to not think about it much more than that, but just to move it forward. So what I would like to ask is if we could have HCID together with the CLA, together with, when we get the ordinance back, to also report on the advantages, disadvantages, risks, and any issues concerning implementation of this policy, so that when we do consider the ordinance, we can consider it with the benefit of the reports from our staff about the issues that we may not otherwise be considering.
I like it. I like it.
And
Excellent.
there are 16, 17 folks signed up to speak on this item.
Okay. So you want a speech or you want a victory? It's up to you. I'm from the Senate.
Though.
I'm from the Senate. I'm sorry.
Do me a favor, though.
So close. Close.
So it should just be these folks here.
Yeah.
Only those, yeah.
So, I'll sit with these guys when we get this work done. So we have all come to a consensus that we're prepared to move forward on this item number 1 of the special meeting. We have a list of people who have a right to speak, although you don't need to exercise that. I'm going to go through the list, and you can decide if you concur or you want to have another comment for us. Corey Schmidt.
And Mr. Chairman, as Mr. Schmidt is coming forward, just to clarify where we are, since we already finished general public comment in the first meeting, there's no general public comment in the special meeting, and the only issue that there will be discussing with comment is special item number 1. Is that right?
Special item number 1, correct.
Thank you.
It's 1 minute.
So you're here to talk about special item number 1. The city is ready to endeavor on, as you noted earlier, endeavor on putting ourselves in first on any effort to execute ALICE, the city or nonprofits with a mission driven to create affordable housing.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell us you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, I just kind of wanted to elaborate more on that. Just wanted to see if you had anything to. I appreciate the feedback. It's nice to hear back from you guys once in a while. Just wondering what the plan is with them.
That's the concept, and then as Mr. Krikoran is prudently noted, we will get specifics on that plan from the committee, from the department, as a report back. And so I think perhaps if there's a need for a richer discussion that can take place, or a more informed discussion, that will come with the report
at a later
back.
time. Okay, cool. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Kim Jurgen, Achille, Robbie Davis. Okay. Danielle Lerner Peretz. Hi, Danielle. Lupita has left the room. Sandra McNeil and Oscar Monge. Danielle.
Go ahead. Hi, Danielle Leidner-Pratt with AGLA.
Mm-hmm.
We represent thousands of mom and pop owners in the city, and we are strongly opposed to the motion that you're advancing today. We have serious concerns that the data provided doesn't actually reflect that there's an issue. There was very limited data provided. We also urge the committee to look for ways to keep small owners in the business so that they're not elseing their buildings, because right now the current environment is not conducive to their being able to remain in this industry. And they are providing the bulk of affordable housing within this city to city residents. So we really urge you to look at that side of the issue and not simply look for ways to further restrict owner ability to sell and other related matters.
I appreciate your comments. I'm very surprised, and I'm open to have these discussions with you and your organization, but I thought that you would embrace this because it provides a safety net for people in your association, your members who may be stressed and searching for a partner to be in this business. But, reasonable people may differ.
Thank you. We also submitted a letter to your offices which give further details on our concerns.
Okay, I look forward to it. Thank you.
To all of us? All of?
Yes, it was emailed to each of you yesterday afternoon.
Okay. I've missed it this morning, but I look forward to reading it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Sandra McNeil. I've worked in anti-displacement and community-directed development for about 20 years. Thank you, commend you for moving this motion forward. Thank you for the amendments, which are the main things that I was going to speak on.
Yes.
I just, as a follow-up to these concerns, we are talking about a policy that operates in the market where buyers, whether they be the tenants, mission-driven affordable housing developers, or a municipal partner, can match an offer. You're dealing with it in the market. It doesn't put owners at a disadvantage. It simply, creates a process that can serve to stabilize communities and create community and family equity and stake in our communities. So thank you very much for moving this forward, and I'll look forward to participating in an ongoing way.
Thank you. Sir.
Hi, everyone. I'm Oscar Mon here with Trust South LA, member of the Community Land Trust in South LA, and just really, appreciating the fact that this was able to move forward and also included the amendments that we were all prepared to speak on today. And just wanted to add that Trust South LA was an influential partner in the Unidad Coalition to also be part of the USC Nexus Study Area funds. This is all coming part together in a very convenient way to make sure that we're able to use this new policy in an effective way and also combine it with resources in our community. We worked both in District 8 and 9. We were excited to have Mr. Marquis Arias Dawson last Thursday celebrating with us our victory at Roland Curtis Gardens to get 140 units new, in District 8. So we're looking forward to see how we can expand our community mosaic preservation model as we see this fit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lupita, ¿no quieres hablar? Está bien. Lo mismo. Okay, gracias. Mr. Greenspan, you can comment on this if you so wish. Mr. Hunt is no longer with us at the moment.
I'd rather Miss Lupita.
Fanny Ortiz, everyone does, and Roberto GC.
Mike Greenspan. Now I do, what can I say? It's the usual suspects. It's like we're in Casablanca. Weston, Cedillo, Harris, Dawson, Koretz. Now, we'll see this thing probably in 2 days at the city council meeting Friday. After all, the last one about building 3D homes and increasing the state income tax appeared at the council meeting 2 days later. And I just, as someone mentioned, it's a market system, and why does the city get an exclusive for some special reason? There are probably some questions of legalities about it, and I know we got 1,000 people with our city attorney's office, and half of them are lawyers, and I'm sure they'll be working perhaps overtime on court cases that could come up arising from this. So, I guess we like to be in the lawsuit business and like to be this thing called defendants at our taxpayer expense, and this is a great avenue for it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fanny. I'm here from Boyle Heights, and I'm here representing the First Community Land Trust in the East Side, Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre. I am also the treasurer, and I just want to say thank you for taking on this action and creating a policy that's going to protect families from being displaced from their homes, from their communities. And as an active member of the Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre, I understand the needs to try to take stewardship of community control of housing and land acquisition for our communities. But I think it's also important that we include another point, which would be the right of refusal policy should also include other buildings being sold, not just buildings that are being Ellis. As we see more and more of our community members being displaced from their homes, being pushed out of our communities, even pushed out of the state, as we organize and make people aware that they can become owners of the land as well and change the narrative of tenants.
I don't think this excludes that, but we can be specific about that. We'll get that feedback as Mr. Corin has asked for it.
And do you mean to suggest a building that's for sale where the new owner is not leaving the rental business?
If they're selling it, if they want to sell it, I think the tenants should have the right to buy it.
Whether or not the new owner wants to keep it as housing at the same rate?
If it's going to keep community members from being displaced, we want to make sure that people stop from being.
So you want it as a way to prevent displacement?
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Roberto Garcia Ceballos, and I'm from the East LA Community Corporation. I'm a community organizer in Boyle Heights and East LA. And the past year, we've supported the development of a new community land trust in the area. And we find the actions of today very supportive of the mission of this new community land trust and the vision we have of community stewardship and community control of affordable housing. And specifically, this conversation that was just had around using it as a preservation of buildings and tenants who are paying affordable rates because of rent control. And our neighborhood has a lot of rent control buildings, and so we want to make sure that if their building is being sold, that they have access to first to buy it. And so some of the other efforts we're doing is working with tenants to buy their building and help them build housing cooperatives out of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Beverly, Kenworthy, Antonia, Javier Marshall's not here. Mohammed Atta. And Gabriela Nunez.
Hi, Beverly Kenworthy with the California Apartment Association. We do have some concerns about this motion. I think, first of all, we need to point out that just because a building is being LS does not mean that it is for sale. So we need to make that distinction. I'm concerned because, how long would this delay the sale of a property? How long does the city have their first right of refusal? People often do 1031 exchanges on their properties for tax purposes, and time delays do affect that. There's nothing stopping the city right now from purchasing properties that are currently being LS'd. I don't know. There's plenty of properties there just for sale, just in general, that aren't even LS'd. I think it also begs the question, we know that our funds are limited. How much money, realistically, are we talking about? And how many buildings? I think it's really not a lot. And how much can you be effective? So I think this needs a lot of further discussion.
Good. We'll see that with the report back. And
Thank you.
Of course, everything is able or unable to happen depending on how much money you have.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
Gabriela?
you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, when DACA is rescinded, there will be no more entitlements.
You're off point.
Yeah, well, this is part of the problem. The crime, the drug, and the gang epidemic will be diminished. Mike Fewer.
Antonia, you need to be on point here.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. Mike Fewer and Eric Garcetti, you have done enough, and we don't need you to assist us in any more ordinances, because those ordinances have gotten us into trouble.
You're not talking to the subject matter,
And so
Antonia.
therefore,
You're welcome to say whatever you want as long as you're talking about item number one.
well, item number one is homelessness. That's what we are. We're homeless. We are in a chronic poverty, homelessness. And like the Vietnam vets, when they came back, they were homeless. They all died on the streets. Mike Fewer and Eric Garcetti and the Democrats want us to die on the streets. We're not going to have a home. It ain't going to happen. Thank you, Red Chief, for at least vouching or advocating for us to have a home one day. I don't see that happening. So again, when DACA is rescinded, no more crime, drug, gang epidemic, and no more wetbacks. We will have a home once they're gone. Hasta la vista, cabrones.
Off point, Antonia.
Hi.
Yes.
Hello. My name's Gabriela Nunez. I work at Trust South LA, a community land trust in South Central, where I was born and raised. Today, you'll approve the release of $5.6 million from the USD Community Benefits Fund. This fund doesn't have the same buying power it did when it was negotiated in 2012. The right to refusal, implemented well and in tandem with these funds, could be an invaluable stabilization tool for my community and make the best use of these funds. I've seen neighbors move to the IE, to Texas, to North Carolina, not because they wanted to leave, but because they couldn't afford to stay. The right to refusal could mean that more affordable housing is developed, that less people move away, and that the people and communities that South Central nurtures and is home to can be protected from USC and downtown's expansion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? We have. I'm sorry, you guys are going to have to come up here and speak right now, on special, item number one, right now. Come up here and speak. Come up here and speak right now. You're going to come up here and speak.
Community
Don't be
Investment
disruptive.
Department, Harris Dawson.
You're
Evict
disrupting
the community
your
of the EDP
colleague.
State Unemployment Services Office on 50401 Crenshaw Boulevard and take it for himself.
You're off
About
point.
half of the homeless
You're off
population
point.
of the
You're
United
off
States
point.
here in Los Angeles, and 40%
Herman,
of the
get on
homeless
point.
are black people.
Herman, get on point.
So as
We
I
got a
pointed
subject
out,
matter
the purchase
that
of
you're going to
any
be
apartment
required to
building
speak
is
to.
solely the responsibility of the city to solve the homeless crisis. In addition to Title VI complaint form under Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city of Los Angeles and Los Angeles participated in discrimination acts against people with disability, even among yourself, Mr. Cedillo. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that one of your families is disabled. But keep in mind the people, the hardworking
We
people like
understand that.
myself who struggle to maintain a conscience, not to see the bullshit from Marquise Dawson. Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.
Mr. Wayne.
So then I want that fool to turn his chair around and turn his head back. What?
I'm gonna,
That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to be interrupted by the Armenian crazy man. Now, I'm trying to do it. I wouldn't even goddamn call.
Get on point.
I know. I do this shit. Now, instruct the LA housing motherfuckers to buy a first right of refusal for the Ellis Act. I ain't gonna trust that bloodsucker Marquise ass dildo. I ain't gonna trust current president. I sure as hell ain't gonna trust no motherfucking Herb Wesson to be buying shit. Now, you got to start selling shit and not buying shit. I'm trying to sell dope with the license. I'm trying to sell Uber Eats with the license.
On point, sir.
And I'm trying not to get the city to stop buying shit and start selling shit. We all want to make money like Harris Dawson did with his pimps and hoes. Thank you so much. That's right.
You're done, sir.
And by the way, that's who they're working for you, bro.
Good
Put the tie
afternoon,
back
sir.
on. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Okay, that concludes public comment on the subject matter. Thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. I think without objection as amended.
As
Move.
amended by Council District 1 and Council District 8, is that correct?
1-8 and Mr. Krikorian with the report back.
The report back from Mr. Krikorian? Okay. Okay.
Is that it?
Yep.
That concludes the discussion and the work of the special meeting. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting. Please have a safe route wherever you're headed.
Nice drive.